All right, fall is in the air, baby. That means it's time to start planning some sled trips out west. And in this episode of Tips Up Tuesday, I wanted to give you a couple quick tips on how to recreate responsibly on our public lands here in Wyoming. So first of all, what does it mean to recreate responsibly? So that can be broken down into a lot of different components. Recreating responsibly really comes down to knowing all the rules and regulations and also some of the unwritten etiquette that we have in the backcountry. So first of all, let's go over some of the written rules and things that you need to know before you go. In our specific instance, we are based out of the Bighorn Mountains, but this can apply to a lot of other different areas, specifically out west. So I think one of the biggest topics that's usually up for debate every year are specific areas that are open to over snow vehicle use. So we are very privileged to have millions of acres to explore and to ride in the backcountry, but that doesn't mean it's a complete free-for-all. Some of the bigger areas that aren't open to snowmobile use include wilderness areas, wildlife refuge areas, and special use areas like Nordic skiing areas. And knowing where those areas are before you head out is crucial, because not being from here is never an excuse. Okay, now that we've covered the areas that are always closed to over snow vehicle use, it's also important to keep in mind that there are specific areas that have specific regulations and start dates and end dates. For example, some areas may only be open to over snow vehicle use from November 15th to May 15th. While in other areas, it could be December 1st to April 30th. So it's very important that you know what your area's end dates or begin dates are, if there are any. In addition to that, some areas also have snow depth rules. So some areas require there has to be 6 inches of snow at all times. Other areas require that there has to be at least a foot of snow at all times. It just kind of depends on where you're at. Another thing to keep in mind when recreating responsibly is your leave no trace principles. So leaving no trace just means that if we were to go up the mountain and we knew you were there, that we would never be able to tell. And the idea of this is to keep our areas pristine for generations to come. So that could be anything from, if you have trash, make sure if you pack it in, you pack it out. It can mean keeping your noise levels down to a minimum. It can mean not destroying any vegetation or causing any harm to wildlife. Another thing you can do to recreate responsibly is be aware of other user groups and being aware of the impact that you bring into the backcountry. So with great power of backcountry snowmobiling also means great responsibility. So you have to understand that there are other user groups in the remote backcountry, and giving them some space and giving them some privacy is something that you should practice and something that I practice personally. By giving these other user groups some space and some privacy and being aware of your group size and the noise that you bring, it can help us keep areas open and prevent dumping fuel on the fire. With respecting other user groups, it's also imperative to respect wildlife. Winters are very harsh. Wildlife already have it tough. If I see bigger critters like a moose in the backcountry, I often leave the area and give them space. It's just good practice and it helps keep areas open. Again, everything you see comes back to keeping our privilege of backcountry snowmobiling a thing that we can do for generations to come. And definitely never chase a wolf down, tie it up, and take pictures of it at your local bar. The last thing that I want to go over for recreating responsibly is becoming prepared. So understand that the mountains here out west are often super remote. That means help is generally super far away. It's even days to get help sometimes. So by being prepared, you are ultimately respecting the backcountry and understanding just how quickly things can happen. I've done an entire video on what I carry as a backcountry guide, and I'll link that below. But the basic idea is you should be prepared for a couple different emergencies and also be prepared to spend at least 2 nights in the backcountry in an emergency situation. So a lot of these places, they do not have cell service and they are far away from any sort of civilization. All right, that is my quick overview of how to recreate responsibly, and we hope you consider these responsibilities when you plan a trip out west. Let us know in the comments if there's anything that we missed, if there's any scenarios that you've seen in the backcountry. Maybe you're a Wyoming local and you've seen some people in the backcountry disrespecting it. Let us know. I want this to be conversational. I want these videos to spark a discussion, and we would love to see what stories you have. We'd love to see what information you have. We're always learning, and we hope that people can come to our channel and learn a thing or two. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.